Hi everyone, today I am going to show you how to make these jelly bows without much glue at all, because with this people will really struggle with the layers popping, whether or not they're using super glue or standard glue gun. So I'm going to show you how I make it stick together and stop it from coming apart by showing you how I use my wood burning tool / soldering iron to join these together. Now with this you do need to start with your die, and with this, before I actually put this through, because this is my Sizzix Big Shot, I actually put a copy through the machine and get a paper copy, so when I'm using material I can cut up the right sizes and organise that. So I'm just going to do that and show you in a minute. Hi, so what I've done is, using my little paper templates, I have cut my pieces to the correct size, and I've also cut this little piece so I can do the knotted centre that you saw in the bows. And with this, you've got your plate under here, which is your first plate that sandwiches everything together. You then want to take your piece and make sure that it fully covers your areas and that there's bits so it'll cut round nicely and there's no bits where it will miss any of the edges off or anything like that. Then this is for the other area, and then this is for the main bow. And again, make sure you place everything so it's covering the right areas. If you're doing a pattern, make sure you've got your pattern so it's facing the right direction so that the matches down on the tails as well. And then you take your second plate. Now mine are quite old and battered, but they still work. They've even got a little bit of a bow, but they will still go through the machine. And still cut. It just takes a little bit more energy. I'm going to put this out of the way. And then we can take the plate off. And then lift this. There we go. That one's nicely cut. That one's nicely cut. And then we can put this out of the way. So now we have our pieces of our bow. I've also got a clip and some hot pink ribbon that matches this. Make sure you've got all your extra little edges. And the other thing that I do on these, because this has got my fingerprints absolutely everywhere on it, I've got this glasser cleaner wipe that I use for my glasses. This works on this as well, or any sort of bit like this. I just like to, before I put the bow together, I like to give them a wipe and then try and keep my touch off them as minimal as possible so that we don't get any more bits and pieces on there. I'll do this for all the pieces, as you can see. And with this you'll see that I have got my glass cutting board out. Because I'm using my wood burning tool and I'm going to melt through, I need to have this tempered glass surface. Whether or not you use a craft one with the measurements like I do, or whether or not you use a cheaper kitchen board, as long as you've got a glass cutting board with your wood burning tool or soldering iron, you're fine. If you don't, you are going to burn your desk. You're going to get holes in places you don't want holes, so don't use that. It's for your safety and also the safety of your desk and materials and things like that. So they're all now nice and clean, so I'm going to put that in the bin. And then we are going to get some curl clips, which are these ones. Move a mess out of the way. And we're going to take this, and again, try and do it as little as possible, touching as much as you can. Get everything lined up nicely in the way that you like. So I'm going to take my clip and put that through there, and then we're going to take this loop, and again try and minimize your touching, or you might need to do a wipe down before you get everything ready on this one. And then we're we're going to put this one on top like this, and then this one goes on there. And this is the Astrid die from AlyBella Bows and Craft Supplies, and it's a multi-layered die that you can make in 5 or 6 different shapes and styles, and I'll put the styles in my group shortly for you, but this is such a pretty shape to me. So I've got this ready to go now, and all I do is I have this straight edge tip, can you see, and I have a dial up on here. I always have it to the hottest temperature. Mine goes to 450. And what you want to do is, the reason I like these clips especially is because it keeps it centered. Point your tip at an angle. It will smoke. If I'm doing more than one bow, I will put a mask on, whether or not you use my big heavy breather or like just a general mask, because you will get smoke and you will get a chemical smell. I won't deny that. So I'm just holding my nose a second. So I'm only doing this one to show you. But as you can see, you do get that smoke, you do get a chemical smell, but it will fade. And I do front and back just to make sure it goes through. You do get that black mark, but we can get rid of that in a minute. I'll show you. If you get any mush or anything on the tip of your tool, use your soldering pot to remove it, or you can buy these separately and individually and give it a little clean off on there. Put that back on my stand. And here we go. And just to make it a little bit easier for us to see, I am just going to put my backer up because it gets rid of the shine from there. And what I do is I have this little teeny tiny pair of embroidery scissors, and we're going to cut the melted bit at the top, as you can see, all together now. We're going to go on the back, and then the other thing is I go in here and I just give it a little bit of a mess, but remember, it's not too bad because we're hiding all of this. If it was going to be visible, I'd be far more concerned, but it's not, so we don't need to worry about it as much. And then with this, I take this clip and we're going to line it, but a trick here, because we're going to hide some of the bits underneath this, so we're going to do a long line. So to do a long line on your clip, I put the ribbon in here first, and then we're going to glue here. Don't get glue on your nail like I just did then. Ow, 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 ow. Yeah. Your nail's not a good place to get glue. It's one of the hottest places where it feels hurts me more than actually on my fingers. But we will glue that down, and I'm just going to get that extra bit where I got it all over me. There we go. And then we want to have it to go in there, and then a little bit over there. So I'm going to cut that here, and we're going to take a lighter and heat seal that there, and then add some glue on this bit. And then I also use these clips to do this bit, which is to pop that in and press them in so the glue actually holds in place, and then a little bit of extra glue there. And we've got our first bit of a line, and then if we hold that open, we've got this bit which is going to go on the back of the bow, because this will give it extra grip and stop it from coming off, and also help us hide that little bit of blackness on the centre. So let's peel that off my nail. Now it's no longer burning me. So that's there. And then we're going to take this ribbon centre, because again we are going to make a knot with this, but I will show you how to make it stay and stick, because it takes a little bit of effort. So we're going to heat seal this bit as well. We're going to open our lined clip and put that on the middle, and we're going to wrap this round once, open the clip, wrap this round again, open the clip, cut this excess off, heat seal here, and we're going to do this. Now with this I'm going to make a knot to go around the middle to make this look more uniform with the bow, and I did try and cut this in a straight line, but my dyspraxia totally got the better of me today, and it does not look even at all. So I'm just going to try and make that a little bit more. I don't think I've massively improved it, but it was better than it was a minute ago. So we're going to make this like loop shape here. So you start with your straight, you loop it over like this, and then you take this underneath and twist it till you've got your knot. Okay, show you again. So make your fish shape, pull that through, pull this up, pull that down till they're both flat. Then you want to take this, we want to put that on the centre so it's hiding your ribbon. We don't need all this extra, but we had it to begin with because we need to be able to make the knot and make it easy. So cut that down to what you need. And then with this, what I do to hold it in place and make sure it's going to stick is the ribbon is the key component, because that gives it something to stick to other than the jelly. But I do a super glue gun mix. The super glue to make sure it 100% holds, and then the glue gun to actually give it time to set, because it won't to begin with. Try not to get them together because it makes like a horrible stench, but hold that down a second, that side, try not to burn yourself, and then repeat the other end. And then wrap that around and hold that down a second as well. Make sure you've got no mess coming out, no glue stringers. And we're going to heat seal this end here. And again, for extra security, to make sure that this doesn't come open, doesn't pop apart, doesn't move anything at all for you, is once we've glued all of that and we're happy, we're now going to add the glue to this bit and cover it completely so there's no movement on there at all. So open your clip up as wide as you'll go, push that all the way down. If you get any glue on your clip, peel it off before you close it so it doesn't stick together. And there you go, a super cute jelly bow, minimal sewing, won't come apart. And like I said, if you get any fingertips or marks or anything like that for you again, then obviously you can. And the other thing is with this is I have my little bow cards, so I popped it on one of these, make sure there's no glue on there. And because it's prone to getting covered in dust and things like that, I have these little clear display packaging, and I got these from Amazon for like a couple of pounds, for like 50 or something like that. And I personally, if you've got the ability to do it, so pop it in. And seal it, just so that when it reaches any potential customers, they're not going to get any dust or fingerprints or anything like that until their child or themselves is putting it on. And like I said, they know how to look after it. And I would put care on like wiping it down regularly to get rid of fingerprints in your notes if you're selling them. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.